This episode of Life After Injury has been brought to you by Fornos Law Firm, devoted to optimizing your legal results.
Welcome to Push Rim Life After Injury podcast. This is episode 10. I'm Ray Pizarro.
I'm Boris Del Cid.
I'm Richard Bell.
We want to welcome everyone once again for joining us on another topic of discussion, and I'm proud to introduce our special guest for the day, which is Bobby Rohan. Welcome, Bobby.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
The man with the cape.
That's right. Finally made it in studio.
Glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Anytime,
Absolutely.
Bobby. You're always welcomed, and you're going to be a big part of our, of our shows and topics in the future. So we're going to dive right into it, and maybe tell us a little bit about, before you got hurt, how you got hurt, and level of injury and stuff like that. Cool.
That's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. I guess we always start off, wondering why we're in a wheelchair. And basically 23 years ago, I was 17. All-American athlete, just loved playing sports, did racquetball, and was an All-American swimmer, and kind of got bored with, being inside, a little bit of the swimming, and it just wasn't competitive enough. And went with a friend to see a good friend of his to do a triathlon, and saw this triathlon, swimming, biking, and running. I was like, man, I got to do that. I mean, I can swim. I'm a pretty good swimmer, and anybody can ride a bike, and anybody can run. In fact, my dad just won this racing bike from work, so I got a bike. I can do this. Went home and told my dad I want to do this, and he's like, go ahead. Here's a bike. And did my first event, I think a month later, was a biathlon. It didn't even have the swim, so it was 5-mile run, 20-mile bike, and accomplished that. Then did my first little mini try, and that was back in 87 when I started. So I did it for about almost 2 years, and got pretty good. Got ranked, in my age division of 18 and under, and and actually was kind of even getting looked at as, a cyclist, and people were noticing, my, ability to ride the bike and climb hills. And, it was like, wow, maybe cycling could be my thing or something. And then it all came to kind of a halt in March 27, 1989. I was in school, easy day. I was used to getting out at 12:30, and on my schedule was just go to the gym. That was it. Got home, and it was for a March. It was too nice of a day. It's like, I got to go out and get a little quick ride in. I thought 12 miles, no problem.
Seize the day.
Seize it. And I got out on my bike, did the quick 12 miles. I was in a bike lane the whole time. Easy little loop. And I thought, still too nice of a day. And I thought one more lap. And that was it, man. When you go back, and when your accidents happen, and thinking back, and it was that, I remember going, I'll do one more lap. And I just remember that.
Right.
Headed down the street, hit a light. It was a red light, and looked over to my side, and my best friend was working. I just laugh at him, knowing he was inside that building working. Mm-hmm. I was like, he should be out here riding. The light turned green, and that was it. That's all I remember. What happened was, when the light turned green, I started riding, and up ahead was a bus parked illegally in the bike lane, pretty far away from the curb. Just like a billion times I've done, gone around a car or a bus, started making my way around the bus, and had my lane clear. And then next thing I know, this car cut me off, is what witnesses say. And I freaked out, and went back towards the bike lane, but there was the bus, and hit head first and broke my C5-6 vertebrae. Don't remember the accident to this day. And first thing I remember is waking up and paramedic asking me, what's your name? And I was just like, I don't know, but can you take off my shoes? And he looks down at my feet, and he's like, your shoes are off. And I was like, that's when I knew something major happened.
Messed yourself up, right?
I knew it.
How long did it take before you transitioned from the hospital out into the world again?
Well, of course, I spent the 3 weeks in ICU, and back in the good old days in 89, insurances were pretty good, and kept me in the rehab pretty long. So I got 6 months.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, I was lucky,
Nice.
you know, and they kind of broke it up in a segment of 3 months. You know, I was in the halo, had the bolts coming out the head, and luckily my dad, I believe, changed jobs and got new insurance. So then I got 3 more months after that. And, so I got 3 months without the halo and kept telling everybody, I'm going to do this. I'm going to push my own chair. And
That's right.
no, you can't. You're C5'6", no triceps. You know, I kind of, you know, it was, you know, they wanted the power chair. We both caved in the sense I got a manual chair with a power unit on the back.
Yeah.
Got home the first day and took that power unit off. I'm like, get rid of that. So I just said, hey,
do you think it was that competitive fire in you that allowed you to like try to push yourself even more?
Of course. It's, you know, does being an athlete help having an injury like this? 100%. I mean, I was dedicated to my sport, and as I lay there in the hospital for 6 months, I just said, I'm 17. Life cannot be over. I'm going to definitely dedicate myself to getting better. I know what it takes. There's goals. There's short-term goals and long-term goals.
Right.
And I mean, I try to beat it in everybody's head when I first meet them who has a spinal cord injury. That like, you got to do the short-term goals. I mean, even if it's just sitting at home and having the phone on your lap and wondering how you're going to learn how to dial it. And that's what I did.
Yeah. I remember you beat me in the head. So
What happened to you?
after you moved on, or, you know, got back into the swing of things, was it hard meeting chicks?
Was it hard? Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, time to do things with rehab and going back to school and, trying to play sports at the beginning, it was, you know, it wasn't easy. And I didn't know if it was going to happen. And every time that I've met somebody, girlfriends in the past, it was always, I didn't expect it, you know, and they just came up to me and started asking me questions and asking me out. And so that way it was a little bit, you know, easy. And the next thing, you know, sometimes when there was periods of a year or 2 years when I was living on my own with a roommate, you know, I was like, come on, I want to meet somebody. I want to meet somebody. And it didn't happen. The next thing you know, boom, it happens again. You know, I was like, oh, okay. When I wasn't looking,
right.
You know, when I didn't have the time, it always seems like that's when it happened.
Right.
Now, Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
how long did it take you to actually accept that you were a spinal cord injury individual?
Probably pretty quick, more than most. I mean, in the hospital, I didn't want to, you know, be this way. Obviously, nobody does.
Mm-hmm.
But after like the first year of making a lot of progress, starting to push my chair independently, starting to think about driving and that I knew it was possible and getting through rehab, and I was almost done, and everything was like looking like, you know what? This ain't that bad. You know, I think I can get through this, you know, until that time of the cure. And so I kind of just accepted, you know, I'm going to take this on no matter what. So if it was 6 months or a year, I mean, now 23 years later, it's kind of hard to remember,
Right.
You know, when did it happen? But I know it happened quick for me. And, you know, of course, I don't know would I take that, you know, that theory of, the red pill and the blue pill,
Mm-hmm.
and the red pill, I would be normal, and the blue pill, it would be the same. And I might take the blue pill because
Mm-hmm.
this is who I am now, 23 years later. This is my identity. People recognize me, or I say it a lot. I feel like a rock star.
Well, you certainly are. And now that you just mentioned that, segueing into another question I have for you is that given the advances of research on stem cell, if and when this research permits it, and I'm going to put it to you in the best possible scenario, there have been over 100,000. You'll be 100,001. Okay, surgery patient. Would you undergo that surgery to regain fingers and arms and legs and voluntary bladder and bowel, responses. Would Bobby, the man with the cape, would like to go ahead and do this?
Half of me, yes. Half of me, no. I mean, like I said, this is my identity now. I mean, I almost feel like I'd be lost walking around. I mean, if you could give me a stem cell just to have my fingers and maybe a little bit of triceps and maybe quicken up the bowel program in the morning,
Right.
I mean, that would be my perfect world. But I know it's either or, and and if I saw 100,000 people walking around and there's a cure for it, almost like if there's a cure for cancer or a cure for something, but then maybe I guess I probably would, but I'd be so scared that it would change who I am.
Certainly would not change who you are, because what I see is, even though your life will change, from, a quad, you will always have that drive to help people, especially those who perhaps are not, ready for this type of, procedure, newly injured people. So I don't see you just going like, oh, okay, see you guys later. Bye. I'm cured. I'm fine. I'm going to walk, and hey, I'm back to triathlons.
Right.
I think you would probably go, hey, this is a way that I can help still spinal cord injury individuals.
You have that perspective that you lived through
Yeah.
to be able to help others in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
And then I got one more quick question for you. You're well versed in many areas of, our community. Do you see any changes that you would pursue or would like to see, as far as adjustments on state or federal laws that should be improved, enforced, more so than now, or implemented, laws on state and federal level?
Tough question. I mean, there's a ton of things, little things here and there. I'd like to see longer rehab stays. I mean,
excellent.
With quads 4 weeks and paraplegics almost 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, like I said, I got the gift of 6 months.
Yeah.
And look where, I became, as you could say, and I love the term, man with the cape.
Man with the cape.
But I mean, I love to see that we can do something like that. I know that, with, this Obamacare thing, healthcare on the table, but, and I don't know where it's going to help. I read, yes, it's going to help, and no, it's not going to help. But, something like, I used to be a vendor for selling wheelchairs, and we hired this gal from Canada, and she's like, oh, this is weird. We bring out 5 different, demos, and they get to pick it, and everybody gets a wheelchair of their choice. Out here, with the Medicare, Medicaids, and half of the insurances out there, like, to get Spenergies on your chair or get a titanium, it's almost impossible. And, it's just not right. I want everybody to have the exact chair that they should have. And, it's hard to see people in just these cookie cutters that are out there weighing, 38 pounds or getting, and there is no easy way to, at the beginning, that the PT can really see. I mean, they're seeing, like, when I met Richard, how long ago? 10 years ago or something?
Close to that.
Yeah. And, he's in this big monster power chair, and he's looking at me like, fool, you can push your chair? I'm like, fool, you're going to do it too. And next thing you know, he's doing it because he finally saw it. And I think that's another thing that rehabs need, is more of us. And we do a good job by trying to make it to as many as we can, Northridge Hospital, Casa Colina, Rancho, and Long Beach. We're going in there to show these, individuals that
seeing is believing.
Yeah, life can go on after an injury of something like this. It's definitely doable. I feel like, thank God I had youth on my side, and I was young, but being hurt young, man, it was just like, you still got to go to college. You still have to get a job.
Right.
I still wanted to own a house. I still wanted to be married, know, and
And now
I've done it all.
You have the
Done
most,
it all.
you have the most
Absolutely.
fabulous man room I've ever seen.
That's right. And it also helps when you see other people as an example, like the other quad or the other para you met that accomplish all these things that you
Exactly.
thought were not possible, right?
Exactly. And I know every new injury is going to look at me like, it just looks too hard. You do it too easy,
Right.
you know? But, you know, you just try to say, hey, I was once there, and, you know, just with those goals. Like, I mean, I don't know how much to stress goals. We always do it no matter what, if we're injured or not. And especially now that you have an injury, you definitely got to make those goals. And I made every one, and I've accomplished then and more than I can ever imagine. I still do it for myself here and there.
Good
You know,
for
I
you.
still try to get active. You know, I still try to be, you know, a good husband by, you know, going out and doing the grocery shopping for the family. You know, my time has a little bit more flexibility, you know, with my job. So I go do the grocery shopping. I do the banking. I do the dry cleaning, you know, and the beauty of being in a chair. And like I said, like, I feel like a rock star.
This
I get to-
podcast now officially has been banned from our wives to see.
But, you know, I go out and it's easy to do because I am in a wheelchair. I get to the dry cleaner. She recognizes my van, comes out, takes it. You know, I go to the liquor store. They come out to me. You know, it's like almost drive through wherever I want to go.
Okay, Bobby.
Excellent.
All right. We
Yeah,
heard enough, bro.
You're making us look bad
we
here,
feel
dude.
like slugs
No,
now.
no,
After
no,
what
no.
you said, we're
Maybe
like
this was a bad
deadbeats.
idea.
Is this
We're
mic on?
We're seriously deadbeats now compared to what you just said. But you know what? I'm glad you're sharing this to all our viewers and us, because it gives us motivation to become better people, you know, build up on our goals and follow through, because, you know, that you're a living example of it. So it's a great way to
That it can be done.
follow your lead and take all those experiences that you've been through and share them with others. I think that's the biggest, you know, thing that you could offer people. And you do it so unselfishly, which I really appreciate. That,
thank
you know,
you.
it's something that just comes out of you naturally. You don't look to receive anything back. You give. And that's something that everyone should follow suit, you know, and make job. But I want to just talk briefly about, your athletic part of your life and, you know, what kind of, sports you're into, and maybe you could share with our viewers.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said earlier, you know, I got into quad rugby, right, about a year after my injury, or a year and a half, and
Also known as?
murder ball.
Mhm.
And I'm sure many people have seen the documentary, and I played against a lot of those guys.
Yes.
I was on a pretty good team, you know, but never, you know, that high ranking to be one of the stars of murder ball. But, you know, I was a 0.5 and started when we were playing in our everyday chair. It seemed like, you know, just put on a couple spoke protectors, and even at the very beginning, we thought it'd be cool without any wheelie bars, you know, like, you don't want the anti-tippers on there. And, you know, then you hit the floor and you're like, wait, this is ridiculous. I'm on the floor. I need to be playing. So we put the wheelie bars on, but we only put one on to be cool. And then the game just changed quick, you know, like in the first 3 years, you know, next thing I know, people are welding more, you know, more metal onto their chair to make more hits and more contacts, and these pickers on the front end to catch the fast guys, and the fast guys are welding on stuff. So the pickers can't get in it. It just blew up. And, you know, I had a great run with playing with the Northridge Knights for many, many years. And then when I got married, I moved down to Orange County from the San Fernando Valley, and, took a year off, you know, just thought it was a good thing to do. They didn't really have a team. It was hard to travel up there every week. And then we started another team down in Orange County a few years ago and played there for a while. And so,
Any advice you want to give those newly injured people that haven't been introduced to quad rugby? Would be the best way for them to, like, maybe tap into it? Or
definitely, you know, look up on, you know, USQRA to find the nearest team close to you. And trust me,
is that .com?
.com, yeah,
Okay.
USQRA.com. And I mean, many teams that are out there are always willing to, you know, bring on fresh meat, as you know, somebody might say. But, and you're looking out there going, man, those guys are fast, they're good. And, you know, it's pretty intimidating, especially a year after your injury, if you're going out there to try to do something and compete with these guys. But they're going to show you the ropes. They're going to say, hey, just keep pushing back and forth. And I mean, that's another thing, as I went to a pretty good rehab after my injury, and it's no longer around, but it was like one of those Next Step Fitness or Precision rehabs. It was state of the art. I got to go there 8 hours a day, and that helped. But what really got me stronger and quicker and transferring almost independently to a lot of things that I didn't think was possible was quad rugby. Mm-hmm. Got me going, got me so strong so quick. It was just amazing. And then you're around other guys who are quads and like
learning all the
you're
tips and tricks and stuff.
Your leg bag has God, I wish I would have thought that. Oh, you can do a transfer like that. And then traveling, my second year I was getting invited to all-star teams and traveling to Canada and all over the United States, and it was like, I'm going to just travel just on my own. And next thing I know, I learned how to call nursing agencies like, hey, I'm going to be in town. Can you help me out in the mornings? Yeah, no problem. It was like second nature. And so by joining a sport like that, it really pushes you into life. And that, we're all almost normal out there, no matter what you do. I mean,
you regained a lot of independence from those guys,
definitely.
right?
And then it ventured me out to go play, when I was going to college, I needed it. I wanted to, go into health fitness, and I had to take a couple PE classes, and I'm like, what PE classes can I take out of college? Wait, I'll take tennis. I went to the tennis, instructor, and she's just like, what's the difference with your rules? I said, I get 2 bounces. That's it.
That's all you get. Huh?
And next thing I know, I signed up for tennis and was playing with all the able bodies. And when
you don't have a grip, did they tape it to your?
Yeah. I mean, I brought my own racket, my own tennis chair.
Okay.
And, I would tape it. And at the very beginning, I was pulling out my own chair, my tennis chair and taping my own racket. But, like the second week, they're like, here, Bobby, let me do that for you. Here, let me get your chair out for you. Let me put it back in your car for you. They were helping me, and it was a doubles kind of thing. So we always played doubles, and everybody wanted me on the team because, I get 2 bounces. So I always stayed in the back, and I just did it, and it was not even a wheelchair thing. It was just a regular tennis class and then I've also done, the tennis. I've done the snow skiing, the water skiing,
Cool.
Played over the line, which is a form of baseball. I played that many, many years down in San Diego, and like to say that,
on the sand?
6 or 7, no, in the parking lot, at Jack Murphy Stadium, which is now, I guess, Qualcomm. And we used to play there, and, we won the championship like 6 or 7 times. So.
Cool.
Wow.
Now, see, that's, if you're not inspired after that, bruh.
Richard, I want to see you playing tennis next week.
It's time to strap on a tennis racket.
Now 23 years and being 40, it's slowed down a lot. And now it's, the stroll on the beach. That's where I get my exercise. Plus, cardio. Thank God where I live in Irvine, or close to Irvine, they have just the best gym ever for the disabled called the Goodwill Fitness Center. And I mean, I go out there, and I think that's where I met you, Boris.
That's right.
I've been there.
And
very nice.
But I mean, that's where I get my workouts, and they're just wonderful there. And they treat, once again, I get treated like a star there,
because I'm also, star, man. Come on.
I try to help out with anybody that comes in that door. I've been a member since day one there. So
good for you.
Actually, this is the reason, he is the reason why I'm here today. Shortly, I signed up for that gym, and then I saw him there, but before that, I got a publication where it was, Bobby's picture, saying that he was, preparing for, something. I forget what it was. Triathlon.
Well, yeah, kind of for my 20-year anniversary,
right,
coming up, I thought like, what, as I was working out in that gym, I'm like, this thing called the Vitaglide was kind of like swimming because I was doing this.
Right.
Then the hand cycle was kind of like my bicycle. And then they had a stepper. And I put my legs on there, and with my arms, I can move my legs. And I was like, this is kind of like running.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, it keeps track of my miles on the hand bike and on the stepper. So maybe an hour on the Vitaglide, that's almost like a mile swim.
Yeah.
Then I did, 24 miles, or 26 miles on the hand bike, and then, 6.2 on the stepper, and I put it as an indoor triathlon to myself. and I was going to accomplish this, for myself as my anniversary.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I turned it into a little fundraiser to raise money, and I raised $5,000.
Well, yeah, that's how I got, after that, then I got introduced to Rough Riders, then I met you guys, and here it is.
Small world. See, it only takes one person to change someone's lives.
And now you know why he's the man with the cape.
He's listen. He's all over. So we're getting short on time here, but we'd like to, anything else you guys might want to add, Richard? Do you want to add anything else? Or?
No, just, that you can find us over at, on our YouTube channel, Club Push Rim, one word. Check us out there, subscribe, and,
Cool.
You can also find us at our, social media network, www.pushrim.com.
That's right. And also we're on iTunes now, so you guys could download us into your mobile device and take us with you on the go, or in your car, wherever, exercising or wherever you might want to go. And, Bobby, you got a final word for our guests today, and just give them a piece of advice.
Plug?
Yeah, a little, or where they could find you too.
Yeah. A couple plugs. Yeah. I want to, always say, for my sponsor, Colors in Motion. I'm sure everybody's seeing the Push Girls and the chairs that they're in. Yeah. That's my sponsor, Colors in Motion. They've always helped me out, and I helped them out. So they, I want to say a shout out to Colors.
Cool.
Colors. And then also, many of you've seen, but, my parents do one of the best publications out there for the disabled, called Disabled Dealer Magazine, which is a monthly, publication for, new and used, vans, wheelchairs, items that you might need, as well as some amazing articles. My mom has just put together some amazing writers to write in her magazine. So, definitely, if you don't know about the magazine, check them out on Disabled Dealer Magazine. DisabledDealerMagazine.com. You can always check them out. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can always find me on my Twitter at Robert Rohan, ROHAN, or Facebook.com/Robert Rohan. You can find me there too.
Great. Once again, we'd like to thank Bobby for being our special guest, and you'll see more of him in the future.
Yes, thank you, Bobby.
Sharing his journey with us and challenges he faces every day. And, also, if you guys want to connect with us or even myself, you could reach me on my Twitter handle at iPushRim. Shoot us a comment, suggestions, show topics, whatever it might be. We're here to make it your show. So thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you on our future show.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace out.
Have a good one.
Bye.